and welcome to Sexploration with Monika. Today I'm so excited to have Scrumbly Koldewyn in the house. So excited to have you here. So looking forward to your next exciting show, the Cockettes Res-Erection. Heavy emphasis on the erection.
Erection instead of erection.
Erection. Okay. And then also, Dan Karkosa is with us. And as always and ever, my token straight guy, Paul Brumbaugh with the Edge of Insanity. We're here at Edge of Insanity Studios. And thank you so much for joining us. Okay.
Thank you for being here, Monika. I appreciate you. I was waiting for everybody to jump in.
Yeah.
Good to see you, folks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no
It's
worries.
great to be here.
So, yeah. So let's get started. How long have the Cockettes been doing their brand of, for people who have never heard of the Cockettes, what are the Cockettes? Because has everyone heard of it? Because, some of them.
The actual legal formal group disbanded in October of 1972. So we were only active for about not even 3 years.
And also the Angels of Light were kind of like around that, and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. They're all kind of like related groups.
Yeah, that came a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
The Angels came, their first show was a year after the Cockettes' first show.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of overlapping of the two groups.
And you were at the Palace Theater in North Beach.
The Palace.
Let's go back to the Palace.
Oh, you remember the song?
Oh my God! I was I was singing along at the reunion, with all the fabulous Cockettes, and it was so wonderful to see, and the energy in the room. You could just crackle. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a very unusual and wonderful time.
So
but
tell
we're
me.
trying to keep that alive now, and
Yeah.
We call whatever group we have together, as long as there's at least one Cockette, it's called the Cockettes.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And so tell me more about the current venue and the show that will begin on next weekend.
Next weekend, Thursday. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next weekend is at Oasis.
Mm-hmm.
Famous.
Yeah.
Drag shows, famous for outrageous shows, for Darcy Drollinger.
Oh, yeah.
He's the owner and the manager, although there's other people involved. It's his leadership that made the Oasis happen.
Awesome. It's always great to have a good venue, especially in this town.
He custom built that whole the theater stage. It's a small theater stage. It's gorgeous. It's got the old-fashioned trip lights that go around the proscenium.
Oh, it'll be such a fun show.
Yeah, it'll be just amazing. There's a bar at the back. There's tables where people can sit, so it's like cabaret.
Excellent.
Not formal theatrical seating.
Mm-hmm.
A runway where you can come down.
Oh, good. That'll be really coming in handy later. That'll come in handy. Some of the performers, maybe I met a few of the performers last time. The crew was so lascivious and fabulous.
Let's see. Well, we have Noah Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Who's also helping us a lot on the direction and so forth and choreography. We have Bonnie Suval.
Oh, Bonnie! Yay!
She's a very sex-positive bartender.
Yeah.
Sober bartender.
Awesome.
And she's just wonderful. She's very versatile. She also helps on the movement and choreography.
Yeah.
We have Kitten on the keys.
Oh, yay! Kitten on the keys! Woo!
She's one of a kind.
Totally. Oh my God, she's so good. And Kidney.
And Birdie Bob Watch.
Oh, excellent. Yes, of course. I wish he could come today.
He was unable to.
Yeah.
Birdie Bob guides all the so many of the decisions about show order and when we have to adapt a song for this particular edition.
Sure.
And this particular edition is, of course, about spring, the rites of spring and resurrection. Let's see who else is in it. We have a couple of new people. Matt Bracco. Just an amazing 6'5" amazing singer with a huge, powerful voice.
Fun.
Let's see. There's Sunshine. Dan can tell you about. There's Steven Satyricon, who's also pretty famous.
Nice.
He's been a Hunky Jesus.
Oh, Hunky Jesus. Oh, that's really coming up
a
soon.
G-side.
Yeah, in fact, I'm looking forward to that show in Dolores Park, Hunky Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there as
Mary,
well.
right.
Yeah, the Cockettes are performing that afternoon too.
Good. So.
We've been Carl with Records. Can't forget Carl with Records.
Excellent.
And let me just please help anybody out. I've got to look at my list.
Well, there's Christian Heppenstall.
Ah, Christian.
Who has a part playing our very imperious director character.
Yeah.
So anybody that knows Christian knows that he's perfect for it.
Excellent. So you're really having fun reenacting the Cockettes musicals, and luckily you're able to just keep the spirit going in San Francisco, because I have been a little concerned that with all the changes and the pandemic and the gentrification, that San Francisco is getting less queer and less freaky. And I really appreciate that you guys are keeping the freaky in Frisco. Yeah. I mean, it's really important to keep that sense of theater and community and being weird and being your authentic self, like being whatever you feel like being that day, wearing what clothes, gender you ever choose. I mean, everything is fluid in the Cockettes, just depending on your mood. And, the glitter beards, all that stuff is just so lovely to stay here in San Francisco.
I mean, it's a part of the legend of San Francisco. I mean, before the Cockettes came on the scene, drag was just men trying to look like ladies. They were looking like Diana Ross, or they were looking like, Miss America.
Right.
And when the Cockettes came, they blended sexuality together, and they blended they were doing what eventually became like gender fuck or gender bending. Way before that was even a concept, they were just doing it. Like you said again, the glitter beards. That's all the stuff that Cockettes started that. I mean, you see what's going on now with RuPaul's Drag Race and everything. But it was the Cockettes way back in 1969 that began that trip we've been on for so long.
Yeah, and they really influenced, even AC/DC and those, hair bands, like that, all that way of looking.
The Kinks.
Exactly. So much influence in our culture that now a lot of people that aren't, maybe if you're from outside the country, maybe you've never heard of the Cockettes, and I'm so happy that we keep introducing them to you again, because the different shows, Pearls Over Shanghai and Res-Erection and all the different new shows, really lovely. So excited that it's still going.
Well, when I started producing the shows with Scrumbly for the 2020 show, and we came out of COVID, because that year we were going to do show, and that didn't happen. But coming out of it, when what we discovered was that, well, I knew. I mean, you go to those those shows, and the shows are great, but you know, it's the music is so good too. So many times you see a good movie or a musical, and the songs don't really stick with you or anything. And you go see Pearls Over Shanghai, you go see Hot Greeks or something, and you come out and you're humming the songs for days. Totally. And that just says something about the amazing ability Scrumbly has in writing his songs with all the different people he's worked with. So the idea has been, since 2020, is to take those songs out of the shows they were in, taking away the context from the show, and leaving the song to stand by itself, the way you would listen to a Cole Porter song or Irving Berlin song. You listen to a Scrumbly Koldewyn song. And so that's what we're doing. And so this certain iteration is we're much more going into the world of cabaret.
And the song about the crabs?
Crab on Uranus means your love.
So hilarious.
Yes, and those stand on their own. They don't need to be in a show with all these other characters. They can stand up on their own, and I think that's what's so important. And that's one of the things that is my goal, is to push Scrumbly's music out to the forefront, to tell everybody, listen to this music. Cole Porter wished he could have written lyrics like this way back then, but he had to hide everything because society was different.
Right, because he couldn't say, there's a crab on your anus.
Exactly, and you know he wanted to, and he probably did in private life many times. But so that's one of the things that I think is great. You know, and really the exciting thing, this show coming up at Oasis is going to be fantastic. Yeah. Scrumbly wrote new songs. We talked about Ken Russell's The Devils. We talked about all kinds of crazy. So Scrumbly has been putting together a phantasmagorical show. We have some really funny moments, and then lots of other touching. The cast is so talented; they're so good at doing these songs. And you know what's great is after we finish this show, we're going to New York.
Oh, how exciting!
And we're scheduled to be at Joe's Pub in New York City on September 9th. So you'll be hearing from us and all our fundraising capabilities pardon me, in the coming weeks, because we got to raise money for a whole passel of people to go to New York and back.
Yeah, awesome.
Think of that. All of a sudden, Scrumbly's music's going to be in front of all those Broadway people.
Oh, wonderful.
For them to absorb, and next thing you know, you're going to have Crab on Uranus on Broadway.
Yay! You know? That's exactly what the world needs now.
Well, I'm just hoping we can take it out other places. I would love to take the Cockettes music and educate people at Fire Island or P-Town, Sydney Pride, London Pride, all these Pride events. But those just me. I dream all the time. I come up with these ideas. Yeah. That's why I'm a producer. I do these things.
Right, and that something about Petals and Petaluma.
Petals and Petaluma, which will be performed in the show.
Exactly. Yeah, I love these songs. Do you have a song ready for us to hear today, Scrumbly?
Oh my, let's see. I sing, I don't know. Oh, I can sing The Perfect Banana a little bit.
Okay, great.
Do you want the whole rendition, or do you want just a taste?
How much do you have in terms of minutes? I think I could do a good 3 minutes. 3 minutes?
Probably about 2 minutes.
Okay, that's perfect. Bring it on, Scrumbly Koldewyn. I can't wait to hear your banana stylings. And it's kind of a,
Okay. When you're single, in the jungle where I mingle, bunches of edible fruit hang on every tree, just waiting to be picked. It's harder to play dancing.
Yeah, clearly, but you're doing a great job.
But you can't just take the whole bunch. I always pick and choose for my lunch something that is cute. And when you give it a squeeze, it looks like it wants to be licked.
Ooh.
Oh, the perfect banana is somewhere I know. Yes, the perfect banana will grow. Behind the cabana, high up in the tree, grows the perfect banana for me.
Ooh.
Bananas come in many sizes. The ones around here, they take no prize.
Oh.
If something rises, I'll be over in just a bit.
You.
Now, I like my bananas nice and firm, a too ripe banana makes me squirm. Even before it comes to term for a good banana split. But you split the banana, peel it first, then lengthwise split it. Top it with, add 2 scoops of ice cream with the dairy. Add the whipped cream, now please don't quit it. And then sprinkle it with nuts and top it with a cherry. Oh, the perfect banana is somewhere I know. Yes, the perfect banana will grow. Behind the cabana, high up in the tree, grows the perfect banana for me. Well, I'm a large banana eater, and though the shrimp size may be sweeter, I don't much care for a volunteer. They have no self-respect. No banana's too large to attack. To swallow it whole, I have a knack. And for dessert, I take sack. What did you expect? Oh, perfect banana is somewhere I know. Yes, a perfect banana will grow. Behind the cabana, high up in the tree, grows a perfect banana for me. Banana, banana for me.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Woohoo.
I think that was dirty.
I don't have to accompany myself in the show.
Oh, it's so delightful. It's so, thank you for delighting us with your song stylings. It was such a pleasure.
And plenty of double entendres.
Oh, so lovely. And I just, wish I had my Copacabana outfit, oh,
Well, watch
I'd love
out, we'll
to.
take in the next show.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in. I'm in. Yes, anytime. I'm
Anytime.
totally a
You'll
yes.
be a cockette.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah, we'll have to hate you.
I'm in. I mean, how bad could it be?
Right, exactly.
I have a lot of good.
Probably drugs and sex. And wearing a wacky outfit of some kind.
Oh, excellent. I'm in. Totally in. Oh, that would be so fun.
I sing that in the jungle. It takes place in the jungle. It's really just some banana wallpaper, and I've got to. It's in a jungle, so I'm Tarzan, but I'm the geriatric Tarzan.
I think there's sexiness available to all of us at every age.
And I cover myself more with the leopard skin.
Well, I mean, when it's necessary, you can. It's best to leave something
It is.
to the imagination. Except for sometimes there's a reveal. It's nice. And I am certainly sex positive.
After 50 years, though, I find it hard to pretend I'm 27.
I don't think there's a need. I don't think there's a need. I think that there is beauty available at every age to all of us. And our sexuality, gets so much more interesting and diverse as we age.
Well, we don't know that because all the society is pushing us toward how young and pretty and skinny you are. And all
We
that
don't
kind of
have
stuff.
to do it that way.
And when you get older, you don't realize that, those young ones don't know what they're doing. They're pretty doing
It's
it,
true.
but they don't know what they're doing. But
Well,
the older ones do.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much of a divide between actual sex and sexuality and just looking good. It's not about what you look like. It's about how you feel and how much, in some ways, how much you can love. How big your heart is. Your heart on.
You're hard on.
Did you see LaBruce's gerontophilia?
Ooh, tell me more.
Gerontophilia, it's by Bruce LaBruce, the filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he called it gerontophilia.
Mm-hmm. In a feeling up kind of way. Mm-hmm.
That's one step away from necrophilia.
Ah, well, we're all aging.
But there is a heartbeat involved, so it's not quite the necro.
It is not so bad. No, it's all good as long as there's impulse.
Whatever your Latin is before discourse.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of those necrophiliacs are just pretending, and that makes it okay.
Well, Gerontophile is a really good movie. Bruce is a really interesting filmmaker. I like his stuff because it's always kind of borderline on porn as well. He kind of walks that line. He's even made some stuff that was more porn than it was. Feature film. But with Gerontophilia, it's about a man I believe he's in a old folks home or something, and he ends up having an affair with a boy that works there who's like in his 20s or something like that. But it's not treated as being sensationalistic. It's real. I mean, these two humans had this interaction, and in reality, I mean, as I've grown older, I have relations with people that are younger than me, and they're not any different. You think because you're older and younger, there's all this kind of like, there's not. People are people,
but
and
truly, people are people.
And exchanging when people need certain things, and the person's there to supply that's what we need as humans.
Totally. And then there's always the cougars and all that thing, and that's actually, I think, a great part of our culture as we start to become more inclusive and not to like say, oh, just because you're over blah 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 age, you aren't sexy anymore, because oh my gosh, there are so many ridiculously sexy people over the age of 50 and 60 and 70, and I mean Dossie Easton, for instance. Oh, I love her. So I just really think sexiness, take it with you all the way into the grave, because there's so much juicy goodness for us to explore.
You have this body, and you might as well enjoy it until the end, and it doesn't really matter what anybody else has to say, because it's your body and it's your voyage.
Yeah, and if people love the way you look, then that's fabulous, and you don't have to be ashamed of how you look. I think that
not at all.
Oh, thank you.
Freak frag
Thank you.
flag fly.
I've actually needed you to say that. I needed someone to say that all day, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Flag fly, Paul.
Okay, it's flying, girl. It's flying.
That's what we're here for.
It's flapping.
And the Cockettes are just the perfect way to like celebrate authenticity.
And look at our casting. I mean, Scrumbly's in the show, Carl's in the show. They both date back to the late 60s, early 70s. And of course, we're not going to get into the ages of all the people in the cast because I can get in trouble. But I mean, it goes all the way from like the 20s all the way up into the later years. And what a great group, what a great troupe to have around. And the value of everybody that's involved.
Absolutely. It's so important. And I love the way you are traveling and supporting sex positive culture around the country. Are you thinking of taking the Cockettes around the world?
Well, if I raise the money, sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get that Kickstarter going.
Let's get that Kickstarter going right now.
All right.
I would like to do that. Well, there will be one, trust me on that.
I mean, something like in Paris or something?
Exactly.
At the Moulin Rouge? Oh, wouldn't that be so good?
Well, just dream any which way. But I mean, the important thing is just for me, it's just getting out there and creating shows and spreading the word. And I've been so lucky to get Scrumbly and I've had, been doing this now for several years now. We have a great relationship, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it because this is the kind of stuff that I love. Right. When I first saw Pearls Over Shanghai, when the Thrill Peddlers did it, I was like, this is San Francisco. This is the San Francisco I moved
the thrill
here for.
The shock scenes, I guess.
Yeah, all that. So it's great to be here all these years later and being working on it together and getting word out. And making it to New York in the next few months and everything.
Yeah,
That's gonna be fun.
So excited that you guys are still.
I've always wanted to like go on the road. It's gonna be like the Muppet movie, I'm sure.
Yay!
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be Fozzie Bear. and looking at what Scrumbly's wearing, he can be Kermit.
Yay!
and Birdie can be Miss Piggy.
So what can we look forward to next Friday? What's on the menu, so to speak, Dan?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of the classic Cockette songs that people love. Of course, I insisted that Midnight Manhattan be included in. That's like, to me, one of my all-time favorite songs. And then trying to think, of course, Let Them Eat Cock, Kitten on the Key.
Oh yeah, Let Them Eat
That one's
Cock.
subtle.
That's such a. Let them eat cake, but let them eat. These are the Cockettes.
You're really getting me. I'm a heavy man. I love my cake. Now you're talking my language, darling.
And then, of course, we're going to have the banana song like we just heard.
Excellent.
We're bringing a few songs back, I believe, from Tinsel Tarts and
Tinsel Tarts and a Hot
Coma.
Coma.
But that was going to be doing a little Hades from that. And then and Bertie Bob Watt will do some of his signature favorites.
Excellent.
Lonely Little Turd, stuff like that. And then, of course,
what was that name of the song?
The Lonely Little Turd. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. It's all about life.
Yeah, and he's sort of, it's not exactly poop fetishing, but it's a little bit like.
Well, I guess it's poop nodding, but I mean, it's nodding that turds have feelings too.
Acknowledging that.
I do have a feeling.
I think Scrumbly's going to
There's probably
on this
one.
controversy.
It's an existential poo song.
Oh,
there you
well,
go. That was what I
good.
was looking
The
for.
world needs more of those.
Are we just tubes, through, mental,
Yes. We are kind of.
eat something
And
Poo
poop
it
it
out.
out, yes. We do that.
And it just gets washed out.
Well, and the thing is there's so much transcendence in the middle, the more you pay attention to the different ends. Like, I'm so focused on doing like root chakra meditations and like moving the energy up through the chakras and, if I could get it to go through my pineal gland, etc. But it's all about like we are tubes. We are not just, meat sacks. We are transcendent meat sacks capable of honestly divine ecstasy and a lot of meaning and beauty and experience in between. So it's so delightful that there's so much juice here that we can keep exploring and experiencing.
Yeah, we see it.
With our different shows and our different expressions. I think. Go ahead.
what you're talking about is why the show is what you're talking about is the res-erection we're talking about. The rising up that sexual energy. And just like Arcade said, all energy is sexual. That's all creative energy has a sexual.
Totally. No, it's absolutely true. It's all prana.
We're talking about, it doesn't, like the song I wrote for this production has a line, it need not be a phallic tower. Resurrection also, resurrection empowers Persephone's power as well.
Yeah.
Resurrection encompasses Persephone. Persephone she's the origin of the sort of Greek mythology.
Oh, right. The Greek goddess, right?
Right, because in winter.
Oh, from a hot Greeks.
Hades.
Yeah.
She rose out of Hades every year, and that's when you have spring.
Right. Oh, right, because that's the spring-like rites of Res-Erection.
Spring Awakening is the same thing that show about sex in Germany in the 1890s.
Yeah, well, and that's what May Day is originally about. Like,
right.
The pagans were getting down.
Things were blooming and people were feeling them.
Exactly. I mean, the maypole isn't, there was stuff going on the maypole.
Divine masculine.
Right.
It's also you don't have to be a male to have divine masculine energy, just like you don't have to be female to have feminine energy.
Exactly. Or everyone else, or I think multi-fluid gender energy. Because I think, there's a lot in like, oh, what am I supposed to be? But then letting go of that, like what your gender is supposed to be. Like, let's just be free and express ourselves.
Be who we are.
Yeah.
Better, you.
And the glitter beards were the beginning of that resurrection.
You're having a fun time with that word, resurrection.
It's the best named show of the year.
Yeah, so many years ago. 20, 30 years ago, right?
The cool thing is it rolls right off your tongue.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
And if we do like a sequel, we could do like a seniors episode and call it like the Viagra years or something. Reservation.
Wow.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
No, there is. And I think, I do think ageism really is something to confront and love, I think the way that people are just loving, becoming more powerful as they grow older. So many, women, get a little hung up about, being over the age of, oh my God, this age. And I think we should really let that go. So, I mean, we're all aging. And so why don't we just enjoy the ride?
Don't believe the myth. Don't believe the myth that you're too old.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. You're not too old to be sexy. You're not too old to have an orgasm. You're not too old to have fun, to play, to express yourself, to be super weird, and dress up. So tell us about some of the costumes that we're going to see in the show.
Well, one of the good things also that I like about this is we're letting a lot of the different performers kind of interpret the songs that they in their own way and create their own look to go with it in a way, because basically it's a show full of people who have done lots of shows. They have very, very vast closets and lots of ideas about how they present themselves.
Yeah, totally.
So, except for a few certain numbers and stuff where we're going to have, the resurrection and the bunnies and the Jesuses and all that kind of
stuff. Are we
stuff.
going to see the crab?
You will see the crab. You will see the crab.
Pretty.
And we'll have all those definitely. But then a lot of them are the different performers expressing themselves with the way they have it. I kind of like that idea. They can bring a little bit of themselves into that song, and again create the new a new standard.
Yeah, and the je ne sais quoi of San Francisco.
Right.
Keep it evolving and keeping it weird.
Well, you have I'm so lucky to have this cast of such a talented people. I mean, just getting us to rehearse is next to almost impossible because everybody's doing so many other shows.
Show up somewhere.
So it's a privilege to be able to work with that level of talent. And and the thing about it is, and as a producer, I've learned the best thing you can do, and you've heard it before, is get the best people and then let them interpret.
Right.
And they're going to bring things you never even thought about.
Right.
And that's what I love about this great group we have right now. And everybody gets along really well. And it's just a really fun vibe to be around.
Oh, lovely. It's magnificent. I'm so looking forward to it.
But I cannot wait to see, because one of the great things about Oasis is, number one, it's a great place. It holds about 120 people.
Venue.
They have great drinks, great staff, and they have really great. They have this LED backstage, the back screens.
Nice.
So basically, you can take anything you want, like on off the computer, and you can make your own back slides and movies and stuff and create them.
We have the technology.
Yeah.
Now.
So that's one of the things that Scrumbly's been working on. That's one of the things I'm excited is to see when the show takes place, all these different segues and stuff that we're going to be having and backdrops for each song. And that was one of those things you have to I'm a budget conscious producer, and you have to go out and spend all this money on props and everything. Yeah. Well, instead, all of a sudden you can do it on your computer and just put it up there. It looks fantastic. So that's one of the great ways. That way, a little bit more money goes into our performers' pockets.
Totally. I'm so looking forward. Pardon?
Want to see a background?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm also looking forward to having Pam Tent on the show. So I hear she's a bartender. That's so cool.
That's Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie, Bonnie Subal.
Pool player. She's a pool playing champion.
Oh, excellent.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
She's great. She's fantastic.
And if I can screen share.
Yes, please do.
You have to enable my screen share, and then I can share.
Oh, yes, I can.
Hold on, we're working on that.
Yeah. So anyway, looking forward to the show.
Tell
us again when it is.
Oh, it's going to be March 23rd, 24th, 25th, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Oasis, which is down in Soma, right at Folsom and 11th. Like I said, Darcy Drollinger has created an amazing showplace. And, with all these places to perform closing down, I mean, we just lost the 2 piano fights. We did a Cockette show a few months ago at Piano Fight Oakland, and we had a wonderful time there. And it's just, for people who are trying to do things that are that are art, that are underground art and everything, it's really tough to find spaces.
Weirdos.
you know, and then you're going to have to pay for it too. So it's just, you know.
All right, I
Oh, here
believe
we
this.
go.
This is what we got, and we've got about a minute 30 before we go into a break, and we're going to show the Cockettes trailer. But tell us what we're looking at, Scrumbly.
This is the background for the opening number.
It looks kind of like Hades. Is it Hades? Oh, so scary, but it looks like people, you know, okay, do you remember Satan when like, stick it in, Satan?
No, which one is it?
Oh, that was like, oh, I think it was South Park.
Oh, the South Park
Satan,
reference.
like,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, yes, Satan in South Park.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And you know, it's all about butt sex, so it's perfect. Yeah, I love the Hades look, and it looks very dark and brooding and ferocious, but you know, also light and friendly and warm. Yeah, exactly. It is fun. And it's fun that, you know, there's going to be people crawling all around that landscape so that we can see their beauty, authenticity, and weirdness.
Pretty much.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you so much for showing us that backdrop of Hades for Res-Erection. Am I saying it right? Res-Erection? Excellent. And having you do the banana thing was so lovely. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick break, and we're going to play the Cockettes trailer. So that show is coming up this weekend in San Francisco. And
The all singing, all dancing, all cardboard Cockettes.
Ain't we delicious? Ain't we the best thing on view? The Cockettes came to the park.
Cruising along the streets I'm choosing.
Okay, I also have a slideshow of their pictures that we can go through. You can interact with us.
Eat cock. Midnight in Manhattan.
That one you guys are
Moonlight in your eyes. Shanghai, you'll be raving and beating for one more
muting our mics.
in good old Shanghai.
Good old Shanghai.
Yeah, that was
That's
those are
amazing.
some clips from the Cockette show we did at Oasis last June for the lovely Pride Month.
Oh, so fabulous that we get to have San Francisco be so funky and weird because, you
Well, that's one of
know,
the reasons we moved here was for the funky and the weird, I think.
that's why I moved here. Absolutely. I mean, it's so nice to like not have to worry about like, am I, you know, am I being too much? Am I being too big? Am I being too,
Well, I grew up in Texas where people were kind of told not to be too much in a lot of ways,
Totally.
unless it was acceptable within the culture. So I even found that even in the gay community in Dallas, there was a lot of self-hatred
Mhm,
due to the conservatism and religious
mhm.
people that were there and everything. And so I moved to San Francisco, and I was like, what do you mean? Everybody agrees with me for once? Great, this is
Yeah,
awesome.
it's so
I mean, as a
fun.
kid growing up, the only time I ever voted for anybody that ever won anything was Ann Richards, who
Oh.
won governor. I mean, that was like the only times because it was just always the minority.
Right.
I grew up as we were a liberal family, grew up in a small conservative town in East Texas. So
Mhm.
I was happy to escape. And,
Yeah.
I love my friends and I love the food in Texas and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But when it comes to society, you know, the hippie people can drive me crazy sometimes too. But I'd rather have that than the
Yeah.
other ones who
They
are trying
are
to actually
better
like do
than-
damage to me if they
Yeah,
don't agree with
or-
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's that whole kind of point of view there.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a scary part of history where it was so repressed.
But it's still there.
Yeah.
You know, I saw
I
that they're like
know.
taking over some school. They're taking over some school in Houston now. The way Florida took over that school
Mm,
too. It's just like, you know.
Florida.
Well, you know, once they can use that banner of "Save the Children," they can give anything they want to. Times it's a good, you know, anything they can do to get out to freak people out.
Well, yeah, that's what they're using to scare.
Scare
you know,
tactics, yeah.
fear
Drag
to-
queens. Drag queens, you know, it's like, you know, and then the Cockette show was like drag queens, you know, on acid. Well, technically it was at one point.
Right, and that is kind of That is the point of the sexual revolution.
Yes.
That's why, the age of Aquarius is nigh. I mean, in fact, the actual age of Aquarius is on the way. I mean, we're almost here, but it's just interesting. It sounds like we have also a slideshow of different things.
Absolutely.
We have some photos
We have
that
some
we
stuff.
took for our promo photos. We went out to what was Scrumbly? What was the area called in Golden Gate Park?
Yeah, the portals of the past.
Yes, the portals of the went out the portals of the past and did a photo shoot. And we had a blast. Everybody that was available from the cast made it. It had been rainy for the 2 days before that, but we needed to get photos out. I couldn't get a photographer, so I shot it myself. And we got to that area. Everybody pulled up, and all of a sudden the sun just popped out, like just shined upon us. And I think we got everything shot in about half an hour. And they would just, in a way, I think I ended up with so many great photos.
Nice.
From that. You
So
can really tell
tell
we're
us
having
about
fun.
some of the things that we are seeing, just for the audience.
Okay, so there's like the big group shot, which you see. There's Carl Linkhart on the far left. And then after that is Matt Bradco. I've lost this picture, so I can't tell who's next.
Go ahead.
Of course, are we on this picture now? Or are we on the past?
Yeah, sorry, I'll slow it down for you.
I was just gonna, if you wanted to know the name, I thought you wanted to know. I was just gonna give you Matt Bradco. Then we have Sunshine, who's in the gold. Scrumbly in the middle, replete with his toga. We have Bertie Bob Watt down there in his bunny outfit. The amazing and beautiful kitten on the keys. And then, of course, Stephen Satyricon, looking much like the Wicked Witch of the Cockettes in that particular shoot. He's a hoot. So yeah, we had a fun time with that. You're also seeing some old shots of the Cockettes, which are some old vintage shots. You can see Scrumbly, all like long-haired and shaggy. I think you see a picture there with Divine, the legendary Divine drag.
The crab show.
That was Divine's number. Divine was in several things, as was Mink Stoll.
Oh right, yeah.
Very much. John Waters is very much what John Waters is the East Coast, the Cockettes are to the West Coast. So
exactly.
There we go. There's a picture, and that shows Divine in the middle.
Pam down in the corner.
Oh, Pam Tent?
With the ball fringe.
Excellent. Pam Tent, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. And what was that? It was a super famous show, and I can't remember the name of this.
Spice Palace.
Yes.
Spice Palace.
Yeah, such a great show, and so many like beautiful, crazy, delightful, fun, sexy weirdos. My favorite. So let's think about, okay, so what are the other musical numbers that I saw in so there was a recent, or 2 years, 3 years ago during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, you guys did a big show. There was like a number by that really sexy kind of cross-dressing,
I bet you're talking about
yes.
I Can't Stop Wondering.
Yes.
Yeah, that and that show was done by Katya Smirnoff Sky, correct? And in this one, Bonnie will be singing that, Bonnie Saval.
Excellent.
Yeah, beautiful song.
We had a number of people playing that role, doing the Jaded Lady that Can't Stop Wandering. We had
Jaded Lady, that's right.
Noah played it, Connie, oh gosh, all people, Katya, memory.
I know. So many wonderful things to almost remember.
Well, what do you think? But yeah, of course, Jaded Lady will be sung as well. And one of my favorites, that's like particularly probably one of the more filthy songs in the whole show, would be "Too Decadent for You," which is two doms and a thank you.
Two
Sub
doms and a sub.
singing about how bored they are with all their sexual exploits, and it's completely filthy and hilarious.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, we have Matt Bradco on that one, Stephen Satyricon and Bonnie Sabal, and they're just watching them in rehearsal, and that number come to life a little because it's a difficult song. There's a lot of words, and it's pretty explicit.
Right.
And but it's it was so funny to watch people see it the first time, and their eyes kind of bug out a little bit, like, oh. And then later on, now they're all acting out every scene and every nuance. And
Totally.
It's great to watch those bloom.
Well, and once you hear that, oh, I do know that song because I recognize that tune, and then it's like a beautiful kind of, I don't know, when it just reminds you, like you could sing along to a lot of your Cockettes songs.
Oh, I do all the time. They play in
Right.
my head like a radio sometimes.
Totally. And there was that, okay, so he's wearing tight pants, and I picture him on
That would have been
the
Diogo.
stage. Yes, exactly.
Diogo, and he did
And
a
what was that
Mick
song?
Jagger.
Yes, there was the
Yes.
Mick Jagger. Oh, and he
Yes.
just looked so
Yeah, Diogo's a fantastic performer. He was in our last couple of shows. He's
Mhm.
unable to perform in this one, but
Oh.
we send love out to you, Diogo. Come back
we
and play
do.
with us.
Oh, the way you looked in that outfit was just mesmerizing.
Well, yeah, there wasn't much left for the imagination.
Oh, I don't need my imagination. Yeah.
Those pants were my pants from back in the day.
Oh my gosh, that makes it the best.
Oh yeah, that was an amazing night.
Oh, that's so fun. And, thinking a little bit about, your work and the story of how you became sex positive. You were, kind of anxious and thinking, maybe, what am I going to do with my life? And then you ran into the Cockettes. So tell us a quick little piece of that story.
Well, I ran into the Cockettes, boy. Yeah, I guess
You kind of created a lot of it.
was going to do with my life. I didn't care. I
Right.
was living at that point, and Hibiscus was there. We'd see him out
That's
in the
right.
street,
Hibiscus.
and he'd start coming over to the commune,
Mhm.
the house where I lived on Bush and Baker.
Ah.
We'd see him in the park, and he'd be singing show tunes, Can't Help Love, That Man of Mine, and getting everybody around him to dance. And
Yeah.
then one day he invited us to go to the Palace. And so that's when I started using my musical theater background.
That makes sense.
Start playing
Of course
songs.
you have musical theater background.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I-
No, totally. Yeah, no, and it's so fun to sing and express yourself and to be your authentic self. I got into musical theater because it was a space where I could express myself, and we dress up and we get to play different characters and, explore different archetypes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's musical theater. I think a lot of queer kids
You think?
really love
Joanna.
expressing themselves in musical theater. I think that's kind of one of the things that saved my peer group is because it was okay to be gay among these people that were theater kids, right? I mean, that was the most important. And then we all moved to San Francisco.
Right. That's where most of them ended up
From
until they went off to the big
Alaska,
city
yeah,
or wherever they would go.
Exactly. And I think that's that's why San Francisco is so seductive.
Well, it's San Francisco. San Francisco is kind of the final frontier, right, folks?
San Fran Freak Show.
Right.
We're trying
It's,
our best.
that's it. So it's really the inception of a lot of this stuff. So tell us a little bit when the show is. It's next.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, March 23rd, 24th, 25th. Tickets are available at Eventbrite. You can also go to the oasissf.com website and find it on the calendar there. Seats are 40, 50, and 60. The 60 ones will sell out first. Those are the ones that go directly around the walkway that comes out.
All right.
And show starts at 7 o'clock. I believe the doors open at 6:30. And it's going to be a great time.
Now, how do we get those tickets?
At Eventbrite.
Eventbrite.
Go to Eventbrite. You can also go to the Oasis SF website.
It'll be underneath this video that you're watching right now.
Right.
You'll see
Or
that
you-
link.
Or you can find, you can go to Instagram, Cockettes are golden, and the link is in the bio.
Excellent. Well,
And you
thank
can also
you.
follow me at DJ Dank SF on Instagram.
Lovely. And Scrumbly Koldewyn, thank you so much for coming on Sexploration with Monika. Dan Karkosa, thank you so much.
We're
It's
so
so
happy to
great
be
to
here.
have you on the show. And I thank you so much for singing that banana song. That was such a treat. I was just wanting to pick you and eat you.
I would love to hear another song because we have 10 minutes left in
Oh, we have
broadcast.
10 whole
We have
minutes.
10 whole
Oh, I
minutes.
thought we had 10 seconds.
Oh, I was putting, the funny thing is I'm putting my hands up and it looks like I'm saying stop
I
instead
know.
of 10, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So what do
Yeah,
you got
lift your
for us,
words,
Scrumbly?
baby.
I don't know. What do you think, Dan? And between, I'm taking.
Well, why don't you sing some Midnight with Manhattan?
Ooh, Midnight in Manhattan. What is it? Midnight in Manhattan, moonlight in your arms.
Something like that.
Something like that?
No, I've got an excellent recording
Ooh,
of that. Give me a second. I can just play it.
okay. Sure.
I think, I sound so much better. It's got the backups and everything.
Oh,
Because one of the
sure.
first times I heard Midnight Manhattan, Scrumbly sang it. They did the show where it was like Hot Greeks for the first half,
Hot
and then he
Greeks.
came back afterwards
was
and
so
did his own
epic.
little like trip through his music kind of thing, and that's when I
Totally.
really realized
Mhm.
how great some of the songs were. So
Yeah, no, it's so fun to, I don't know, sing along. And
yes.
I learned a little bit of the songs, like I'm sort of like,
Well, they will
Yeah.
burn into your brain.
I
They're
totally
catchy.
want to be a cockette. I'm totally into it. Sign me up. Any hazing, I'm into it.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just looking for that. It's from the Cape.
I'm very into consent also.
Well, yes, of course, it's all with consent. Luckily, that's the
Consensual
same thing with
hazing,
Cockettes.
I'm very into that.
We all behave ourselves.
Yes.
It's all about consent and
Well,
having a
I
good
love,
time together.
yeah, exactly.
And we're just happy to be back at Oasis. It's a really fun venue to be at. We had a great time being in Oakland. And like I said, the idea of being at Joe's Pub is just super exciting. That's like the premier place to be. The Broadway
New
people are going to
York.
come down there and they're going to go, wow, this music's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
It's a great way to intro it. I'm super
Yeah.
excited we got it accepted. It was so I've had to chase around bookings and this one just fell into my lap. So
Yay.
one of those things
That's how
it's
you
meant to
manifest
happen.
something
It's
that's
meant to
good.
happen, right?
Yeah,
It's like
that's
life will
right.
give it to you when you push through.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of meditating lately, and that's really my style is let it happen, like
Yes.
dreaming. Mm-hmm.
I can tell Scrumbly's ready.
Are we?
You ready, Scrumbly?
Yeah, here we go.
All
right.
Yes, you'll be able to hear. Let me do shared computer sound.
Okay.
Right, wait a second. I'll just turn that on. Okay.
Doing some technical
All these
adjustments.
technical things.
A bunch of Zoom things anyway, so
Yes.
Oh, there we are.
I turned off our microphone so it doesn't backfeed too much. His mic's too close to his speakers. I'm trying to. He's too close.
Well, it's all the same thing. He's playing them.
Right. Back with our mics in a moment. Go ahead, dance, guys, if you want. Oh, there you go.
Your mic is still on.
We had that certain little feeling
Like Central Park, you up. Now another game, and I found that can't get by you. I'll be there in somebody's for will be I drink some love, that's my feeling. Oh, I can't forget. It's hiding and I.
All right. There we go.
Baby, I'm gonna sing that all.
Such
the way
a pretty
home.
song. Scrumbly, what happened when the critics criticized the Cockettes? Didn't they make some kind of comment about that song?
One critic said, oh, they just did all this old material. They even did Midnight in Manhattan.
Oh, they thought that one was.
So they didn't even know that Scrumbly had written that song.
Oh.
It was just a tired old standard.
It's like,
That's
oh,
so awesome. I
Right.
mean, I know it's not awesome because it doesn't feel good at the time, but in fact, they didn't even know how cool you were.
right. They showed their own ignorance by that
Yeah.
one comment alone.
Yeah, that's. Oh, critics. They're
I
just going
know.
to be critical. That's what they
That's
do.
what they get paid to do, and probably they're in a bad mood one day. Oops, hope it's not your show they're going to review.
Yeah, that whole thing was meant to be, because nobody bothered to tell anybody that the Cockettes were anti-rehearsal,
Oh,
anti-traditional theater,
right.
and they expected those almost overnight people came, all those celebrities, they came to the Cockettes opening in New York, and they thought they were going to get another hair.
Right.
With, everything real slick, and the whole idea is anarchy.
Right.
Anarchy on stage,
Totally.
and that the audience has to participate in it. But nobody educated the New York audience until after we opened, and then we had a successful, for a much smaller theater, we had a successful run.
Oh, that's so
We had,
funny.
300-400 people a night, which is not bad for a
Right.
show.
Right. For a Cockettes show. And it's so funny because I can imagine that people really felt like, they were thinking of it by their own standards, which isn't as wild and luxurious. And also unrehearsed, unplanned, and spontaneous. I think New York kind of misses out on the spontaneity, right? And the living in the moment. I mean, that's what the Cockettes is about. It's theater in the moment, of the moment.
Yeah, they should have just put us in a smaller venue, but the producers were out to make their money, and they thought because Rex Reed gave it this rave review in San Francisco,
Right.
and it was in a 1,200-seat theater in San Francisco that was overflowing, that was, standing room only.
Right.
That's the way it was there. And then they gave us a 3-week run.
Which is kind of long. Yeah.
Not by New York standards.
Right.
And if they'd have publicized it right and figured out what needed to happen, still they just handled everything like it was a regular show.
Right. Yes. And you guys just are not even regular performers. Not in the same sense. I mean, you're fantastic and fabulous and glitter beards and, absolutely authentic in the moment weirdos. But I think, if you're like thinking, oh my God, this is going to be Broadway and hair and all that stuff. I mean, I can see how it would be like, yeah, actually we do something completely different. We're going to do something totally different.
But the thing is time has told the tale.
Yeah.
We're still talking about the Cockettes. We're still talking about these songs. We're talking how these songs still mean something to people when they listen to them today, where, a lot of those things that were probably like critics' darlings of that era, nobody even thinks about. So.
And Moonlight in Manhattan
Exactly.
actually
That's one of my favorite that they did not even
That's
recognize
so
that was
funny
the
that it
original
was
song.
Scrumbly.
And
Yeah.
now, are we actually, how many years in? We're into like almost 55 years, 53? Years of the Cockettes.
Yeah, the 2020 was the 50th, so yeah, we're
Right.
at 53 and counting. But that's great. Keep it going.
Totally. No, and it's so nice to keep
Well, it's
San
nice to expose
Francisco weird.
the new generation too.
Yeah, exactly. And it really is important to be present in the actual moment. Like, even though, yes, we are, doing show tunes and revivals and everything else, but it's, something that is about, the present moment, the present, history, yes, but also what's happening right now.
And the spirit of San Francisco and the spirit that we all stand for.
And it's all evolving.
It's
right?
all evolving, and we have whole new people coming in and out like we always do in San Francisco.
Totally.
But it seems for some reason the weirdos always seem to stay no matter what.
Well, and sometimes what the flow, like what happened, I think, in the pandemic is that people got a chance to switch over. Like a lot of people moved out of San Francisco in the pandemic, then a lot of people could afford to move in.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like San Francisco, there's jobs, there's the Silicon Valley thing, and there's a lot of really great things. And then, you get to be your freaky, authentic self. And then some people, don't even have any experience of, being your authentic, freaky self. But there's, the gay community, the Tantra community, all of these presence in the moment communities. And, I think that especially with Folsom and all the different, neighborhoods and areas, there's so many ways to be your authentic self in San Francisco available to everyone.
And any of those people that are listening here and they feel that way, go look up Cockettes Are Golden on Instagram and follow it and become part of the movement of this way. And also, if you're interested in what I'm doing, I also create cannabis events. I also am producing shows, lots of stuff coming up on the horizon. I mean, lots of stuff I can't tell you right now, but it could be big. So DJ Dank SF at Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Dan Karkosa as well. But definitely DJ Dank SF at Instagram, and Cockettes Are Golden. Again, we're going to be at Oasis March 23rd, 24th, 25th at 7 p.m. Tickets at Eventbrite.
Ooh.
Excellent. And Scrumbly Koldewyn, thank you so much for singing to us. And I mean, that banana song and Moonlight in Manhattan.
Be humming all night.
Great. Yes. I can't wait to sing that on the way to the car.
And now we can check out everything you do on Instagram, correct? At Scrumbello at Instagram. Is that correct, Scrumbly?
Oh, no, don't go to my Instagram. There's nothing there.
Oh, no.
Well, we'll still tag you.
We'll still tag you.
Social media, but Facebook probably.
Okay.
Most people just do Facebook.
I know, but it is less anxiety producing to do Instagram, because when you're on Facebook, sometimes it gets a little,
But you can definitely find
compare
Scrumbly there.
yourself to other people. It's exactly, but you can find people on Facebook, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for having an Instagram page so that we could tag you. It's nice to be able to do that, and thank you for allowing me to tag you.
Well, my pleasure. Anytime. I love being tagged.
Indeed, I'll tag you. And thank you so much, both of you, for coming on Sexploration.
Well, thanks for having us.
With Monika.
We love to sexplore with you, Monika.
Yeah, let's explore some more. And I'm seriously, if there's an audition, I'm ready. I'm ready to do the audition.
Okay.
And Paul Brumbaugh, thank you so much for this beautiful studio here in downtown San Fran Freak Show.
Thank you for having me here. Actually, I'm so glad to hanging out with you guys on a Friday. I can't wait till next week's show. Thank you again for having me along for the ride, folks.
This is Sexploration with Monika. Thanks for listening. Live. What a fun show.
We good?
Do you need me to talk more?